Welcome to the third episode, How to Find Love. And we choose this subject not because we are a love agency, but because there are much more subjects to go deep if we want to find love. For example, mindset, for example, self-love or clarity. This is a big, big challenge for everybody because I believe that every one of us want to find love in our life. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. And to be honest, for me, it was also a topic I was struggling with for a couple of years. And it's a topic that is really close to my heart because, I found the love of my life. And it was quite a bit of a path I took. And I really want to help everybody who's looking for love with some tips and advice on how to make it easier. Because it took me years, but it's not necessary. It doesn't need to be like this. Let's put it this way.
It can be easier than
It
yours.
can be easier.
Okay, what is the first point that came in your mind that helped you a lot?
For me, the biggest part was developing self-love actually, and to embrace who I actually am.
Mhm.
That was something that took me a long time, a lot of years, until I understood, okay, so and in order to give love, you need to be able to give it to yourself first. And also for me, what made me struggle for a long time, that I was not really setting clear standards, no healthy limits. And that's what actually opened the door for me also, and for potential partners to step over my limits. And I was just walking around saying, yeah, this could be something, this could be a partner for me, but I was not really saying, you know what, this doesn't fit me. It was like, I was just like, okay, like, because I wanted to have a partner so much that every time I started to be in a relationship, I converted into somebody else. I mean, it was quite, it's also quite sad for me to share that now, but that's how I felt. I was like, oh goodness, I need to be somebody else in order to be loved. And it took me a long time to overcome this idea.
So
And
from what you said, it's more that you change yourself to somebody else, or you were changing the other person to be with you.
yes, and that's how it was for a long time. I mean, just thinking of an example, but for example, I always loved going out, but for a while I also had a partner who didn't enjoy it.
Mhm.
So I just went out a lot less because I thought, oh, maybe it's not right what I'm doing. Just after I learned this lesson, I was like, no, it's okay. It's fine that I enjoy it this way. That's how I am. And I also realized that because I converted into another person, I didn't give my potential partner a chance to truly decide if he or she, wants to be with me, right? Because I just was a copy of what I thought I should be, but not embracing really who I am.
I totally feel you. Also because very often there is a standard of the person that we should be, the partner that we should be, the husband or wife we should be, that often come from our parents, because of course we grew up from in that family, and or from the society that tell us what is a good behave for a good partner, what is the good belief for a partner. And then we forget that what makes us unique, it's us. And to be unique and also to be loved, we need to understand and know who we are. And so at the beginning, we said that one point it's clarity. And often we forget that we need to know what we want from our life. And also to know what we want, we need to understand who we are first. So what are our beliefs? What are our values? What is important for me to have, in my relationship or in the other partner? And I don't mean that we need to, from my side, to do like 100 points, that it's a checklist, and if they miss 5 points, or it's not good person. But we need to understand what are our priorities.
Yes, and for me, what that also means is to say, okay, what is it? What are challenges we are also willing to accept that come with this partner, right? I mean, and I think for me also, I was lacking this clarity for a long time, and I was making unconscious decisions in that sense. Because I mean, this partner who was not willing to go out a lot and was not really having fun socializing. This is totally fine, but it took me a long time to understand, but it's not fine for me.
Yeah.
And to also say it's okay. So I needed a long time to say what are challenges I'm willing to accept. For example, saying, okay, my partner loves creating chaos in the house, and that's okay for me. I'm willing to accept this special effect, so to say. Mm-hmm. And this is nothing that is really crucial for me, and that will be a no-go for me. But like, it took me a long time to understand, for example, a person that doesn't like to be around people is a no-go for me, just for me personally. And it was hard for me to embrace that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you're totally right, because so often we try to connect and think that if it's not for me, like it's not anytime good for anybody.
Yeah.
Also about us, I'm not good for anybody. But it's not true. It's not that I'm not good for everybody. I'm not good for somebody. And
yes.
It's fine like this. Accept this part. I accept this this aspect of our life, that it's fine if somebody doesn't want to stay with us, but there is a big market, the other part, very good for us. And yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. It's I think I'm just so passionate about this topic. It's really, I mean, yeah, it's an important topic for me. And as you said, I think you just touched a really good point, saying what it also includes, saying that maybe when we meet somebody, this person might also choose that we are not the right fit. And this is also, I feel, something very important, that we understand just because we receive a no from somebody else, it doesn't mean we are wrong. It just means we're not the right fit for that potential partner. And that's good, because it helps us to move on as well. It's just like, okay, I'm not a fit for him, but doesn't mean that I'm wrong in general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How hard is to take a no?
Oh man, I mean, for me it was, I don't know what. Tell me, how was it for you?
Oh, very, very tough. I remember when I was young, I was super shy. I was not that now I'm a Latin lover. I don't define me like a Latin lover, but I was totally the opposite. Like very far away from being with having around some girls, even if I wanted. So I struggled a lot in the past from this part, this aspect, and I took several no's, really a lot. But I also understood something. I took a lot of no's for 2 points. The first one is self-respect and self-love, as you said, because I didn't love first myself. I undervalued myself compared to the other person. If there was the other person here, I compared her like here. Oh no, she's too high. She's too
Yeah.
high. And this was something that really affected my relationship, and it's bad to say, but my results. And
I get you. I know what you mean. Yeah.
The second point that really was bad for me when I was young, it was trying to copy somebody else, because I had a lot of friends, male friends, who had a lot of success with women. And so I would think, okay, maybe I should be a bit more like him or the other one or the other one. But anytime it wasn't good because it was me. In the moment, I understood who I am and what I like to be. I started to be very spontaneous. I didn't care if I wanted to say a joke. I said it. If I wanted to open a door for a woman, I did it. If I wanted to read a book with a woman or say something deep, I did it. And in that moment, I understood that it was the best way to be authentic and to be liked. Also because you attract the person who likes you for who you are. Because in the moment that they discover that you are different from the person that you try to be, it become like a fantasy that fall down. You open always the door to me, and you were so nice when we were doing something, and then at some point it's like, oh, who are you now? No.
Yeah.
Be authentic. It's very important.
Yeah, you create false expectations in a certain way, right? And yeah, I totally agree. I think total honesty is the key with yourself and with the other person. Also saying, hey, I mean, for me, it was also like, I mean, I was not always 100% honest with my plans, what are truly my personal future plans and what are really must-haves in my future in a certain way. And honestly, this always backfired at some point. Because I mean, I split up with somebody when I actually told him that I really want to go travel, and this is a must-have in my life. But it was my own fault as well. I'm not talking about fault, but it was a learning. I don't like the word fault anyways, but I was not 100% honest with myself in that sense and not with him from the beginning. Because if I would have told him, you know what, traveling is a crucial part of my life. And my plan is to be again and again abroad. And that means I will maybe stay or would want to stay 1 year, 2 years, 1.5 years, whatever time abroad. And this will be in the near future. Are you okay with that? Is that something you would love to do with me? Yes or no? That would have been very different from saying, maybe I want to travel, maybe I was insecure with myself. I didn't allow myself to be 100% me. And that's why I was lacking clarity always towards him, saying, this is me. Do you want this?
And this, what you did, it's like really communicate what you want.
Yeah.
And it's a really deep required when you want a healthy relationship, when you want to find love. It's so funny because I believe that if I ask everybody if they want love, if I want a very healthy relationship, if I want somebody close to them, in a healthy way, almost everybody raise their hand and say, yes, I want it. Yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
But when we say, okay, are you willing to do what required to have a healthy relationship? Not everybody do it because we are scared to lose the person, or we are scared to don't find somebody. And because it's so hard also this part. I want to travel, yes, but how I can travel and find love at the same time? But at the end, we need to be happy. We need to be to follow our values, our dreams. And that point, when we are the best of us, we can find the best person. If we are not the best of us, if we are not doing what we love, we can also find somebody to love. Also because it doesn't fit in our dream life.
Yes. And it's quite interesting because you already touched a third point, because when you said we are scared we will not find somebody, what you touched upon actually was a thought. And I think that's also another super important point to keep in mind and not to underestimate is our mindset. What is our mindset towards love? Because I realized, and this was also a tough learning that I had during the years, that what we think about love is actually what also determines if it works out or not. It's not happening completely by accident. I mean, this is like, because our thoughts always influence our feelings, and these influence our actions. Meaning, like, when we, for example, when I say I want to go to Hamburg, I drive my car to Hamburg, I put that into Google Maps or whatever kind of navigation system you're using, and then I go there. That's the focus I put on, is driving to Hamburg. And that's, for me, it's the same. Like when I choose a thought, that's actually a goal. So when I say I won't find love, you will do everything to not find it, actually, because that's what your mind is doing. It always wants to be consistent with what you think. It just wants to confirm what you think. So it will confirm the idea that you won't find love. So you will, I mean, and that's what I did. At the beginning, I was like, there's nobody out there for me. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So I met a lot of guys that were definitely not something for me. I was like, yeah, it's true. I will not find somebody. Next one. Yeah, it's true. I won't find. Fuck.
Yes. And you had to change all your beliefs. And you had before understand what are your beliefs and then change them. I know someone that a lot of years ago, when I met him, he had the belief that all the women were, how can I say in a good way, not really good, that they go with a lot of men. I don't know how to say in a good way.
I know what you mean. I mean, let's be honest here. That's what the podcast is about as well, right?
He thought that all the women just were whore, and he had a relationship, but he fight all the time with his woman, and he didn't trust any time her, and at the end they broke up because he was so jealous, so crazy jealous, that they broke up. But even before, for him, was very, very difficult to find somebody because he had this belief that anytime he met a girl, he had this kind of thought that come out and say, be careful, she's a whore. And understand what we think, because it's the same. It happened also to me during my last relationship before. I met a girl who believed that all the Italians are fuck boys. And so she had this kind of idea that everybody who is Italian go and fuck everywhere. And you can find love with disbelief. Or yes, you can, but it will never be Italian for sure.
Yeah,
And,
it
and so,
conflicts with the wish that you would like to have a real relationship. It's just going so much against it because you will focus on looking for these type of men, right? That's what you will focus on with that thought.
and exactly what you said before, when you have disbelief, your mind, what just gonna do? It's gonna find all the proof that this thought, this belief is true.
Is right, yeah.
Yeah.
It wants to be right always. That's the thing, like of our mind. It always wants to be right, and yeah, and for me, yeah.
No, so that's so important to work on our mindset and our beliefs.
Yeah, because for me, for example, one typical belief for me was that my standards are too high. I will never find a guy because my standards are too high. Huh. Guess what?
Have a husband.
Right now, I do have a husband, yeah, but not until I changed this idea that my standards are too high. Because then I always, as a consequence, I looked for guys that were not really what I wanted. And like as a result, when we broke up, it was like, yeah, it's true. I should lower my standards. Yeah, they're definitely too high. So I took it as you said, as a confirmation. And but when I changed this belief and I chose my standards and I said like, okay, these standards are good. These are mine. This is what I need. And this is coming back to the topic of self-love. This is really what I need. And when I started to embrace it, I sent out a different message to the outside world as well. Because sure, I mean, men saw my clarity and I had another vibration, so to say, right? I was clear. I was standing up. I was like, okay, so this is it. And that's what I will go for. And my standards are okay. They're good. And then it worked, but not before.
Yeah, I understand. And
it's quite, I think it's quite magic what the mind does, right?
Yes, totally. And because you touch also a very important point, that when you have clarity, you also give another energy to the other people, and they can understand that you are not confused, that you know what you want. And somehow the people who are confused or doesn't match very well avoid you, not because you're bad, but because you know what you want.
Yeah. And then
And
it suddenly works out.
yeah, exactly. And you talk about standards, high standards. My question is, do you think that there is one person, perfect match? Or do you think that it's more that a lot of people can be a perfect match?
I think there is.
Okay.
I personally think there is. I don't know what you think, but for me, it was actually an idea I was separating from me for a long time, because everybody around me always told me there is no perfect match. So just look for somebody and make it work. And I was like, okay, that's what I did for a long time. And it didn't work because in my heart, a part of me was always believing there is a perfect match. I mean, somebody who just fits. I mean, it's the same with, for me, it's the same with everything in life. There is a city that fits for me. I mean, I enjoy mountains, but I also enjoy a bigger city. So I want to live in a medium-sized city. Shouldn't be that big. It's for me, but it might not be for you. So there is, for me, a perfect fit in terms of city with all the advantages and disadvantages my city brings. But it's perfect for me. So why shouldn't there be something like this? Why shouldn't there be a partner out there as well that just fits me, is perfect for me? Why not?
It can be that it's perfect now, because also we evolve all the time. We change. We are not the same as 3, 4, 5 years ago. And maybe for sure, in 5 years, 10 years, we will be different. So how do you think that the perfect match, that today is a perfect match, also tomorrow will be a perfect match? Because I totally believe that a lot of people can be a perfect match. Not everybody. I don't believe everybody. Because I need to understand my value, your value, and we need to understand if my family values are the same as your family values. This part.
Yeah.
But I also believe that this part, it's very important, and how we put energy, this work.
What do you mean? Explain.
That to find love, we also need to understand what is the other person.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah, this one maybe it's already another subject. It's like how to keep love. But it's like where we put the energy and work.
Yeah.
This one last.
Yes. No, sure. I agree that I think as our lives evolve, that depends on how we work on the partnership, if it keeps on working. Definitely. I think what can happen as well when we don't take care of a relationship, that we drift apart.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think when we choose to make a conscious effort to evolve together and grow together, what for me personally is also one of the main purposes actually of a partnership, to make each other grow at a maximum.
Mm-hmm.
I think then it can just also stay the perfect partner, can still be the perfect one.
Okay.
I don't know. Or what do you think? I mean,
I think that it can be like this, totally. Yes. I believe that there is more than one perfect match. Because if not, I will be a bit worried. If it's not, oh my God, maybe my perfect match is in Uganda, and I will never be in Uganda, and so it's gonna be a bit difficult to match and find her. But I believe that we attract who is perfect for us in this moment in our life.
Yeah.
And to attract them, we need to really love ourselves, to know what we want, to work on our mindset, and also our beliefs in the relationship, what we want in the future. And at this point, communicate to the other person, because sometimes we are too scared about saying something about us, like being vulnerable, and open our heart to the other person, and what she or he can think about who I am, or maybe I'm wrong. That's why I totally believe that we should stop to hide ourselves, because in the moment that we hide ourselves, we push away the person that is perfect for us in this moment.
I absolutely agree. I totally agree. And I think Again, you did it, Alessandro. You just summarized today's episode.
Yes.
Okay. Do you also want to tell the ones that are listening what will our next episode be about?
Yeah, next episode. Maybe it's also a bit related to this one
It is
because it's gonna be the power of decision making. That is also about this kind of
awesome.
content that we just
I'm
got.
really, really looking forward to that. That
Me
will be
too.
another awesome episode.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.